My name's Graham Walker, and here I am backstage at Leeds Festival with the one and only Melvin Benn. Melvin, what a great festival. What can you tell us about it?
Well, I think there's an awful lot that it says about itself, actually, and I think what you can really do as well is ask, the 75, 80,000 fans that are here, how they think about it. But the truth is, it's amazing. We've got Judas on as we speak. Judas played a tiny little stage last year called Jack Rocks, and at the last minute we had a dropout, and I asked them to step up and play the main stage, and they were great, and here they are again. I've invited them back this year to play the main stage and open today. Great kids, great lads. They're all from Liverpool. They're all in great shape, and so the festival's it's an important piece of young people's lives now, certainly young people in the north of England, and it's one of them festivals that's important in a transition period, important musically, important geographically. Lot of reasons why Leeds is key to people's lives.
Well, you mentioned Judas, and obviously giving a young band a big break, and we're very proud to have a great Yorkshire story this year, which is the Sherlocks. You gave them the big break, and they've entered the charts on stage here at Leeds Festival.
It was when we booked them, we had no idea that, of course, we booked them to play at Leeds actually at exactly the time that the charts were coming out, and we just didn't know when their album would come out, and it all just happened that the album came out and their first chart was at 6:10 last night or whatever time it was, and they were on stage, so they were like, I've been getting calls from the management for weeks. It's like, the band are going to be on stage when the charts are announced. It's like, well, and at first I didn't get it. I thought, Jesus, they're going to be on stage, and it's great. And so they were all sort of desperate to know what number the charts they were going in at. They were hoping to get in at around 20 or something like that. They got in at number 6 as the charts. They're overwhelmed. It's fantastic story for them. Fantastic story for another great Yorkshire band coming through. Another fantastic story for Leeds, and great that Liam Gallagher was playing yesterday here at Leeds, and Liam went and spent some time with them, and really likes them, clearly really likes them, and he's got that northern connection, and great that they've got that sort of inspiration of somebody like Liam Gallagher going over and spending time with them. That means a lot.
They've worked hard. I think they've done about 1,200 gigs in their short career so far. It's about working hard, isn't it? You get luckier the harder you work.
I think they said in a press statement or whatever that this is an album that represents 4, 5, 6 years of really working hard and developing their craft. And I say it to bands all the time that actually great songs are really important. They're the key to it. But if you've got great songs and you don't have the craft to deliver them, it won't work. You need both elements to it, and you don't develop that craft without being out there in front of an audience night after night after night and actually learning what audiences want.
Can you see the likes of the Sherlocks doing at Blossoms and maybe coming back and playing the main stage?
I think there's no question that the Sherlocks, the response to them actually up and down the country has been amazing.
It has, hasn't it?
It has, and I was at Glastonbury, and when I was at Glastonbury, there was a lad came that works for the record label that the Sherlocks are on, and he was like, Melvin, so happy that you booked them for Leeds Festival. We've got huge faith in them. They're going to go big, and it's like...
Sheffield's celebrating this as well. They are actually Bolton-on-Durn lads, but I think on stage they even introduce themselves as the Sherlocks from Sheffield. But we've got things like Reverend and the Makers, we've got Melbourne, we've got other great bands, we've obviously got the Arctic Monkeys who are coming back with the next album. We'll talk about that in a bit. But in terms of... it's like having a Premiership football team, isn't it, in this city? If you've got a great band, it helps put you on the map.
Having Leeds Festival here, I just think it's really important. It's really important for, in particular for northern bands, to have Leeds Festival as a beacon to aspire to, as a point to direct themselves to. But of course, as importantly, almost every one of these bands has actually spent time as a punter here at Leeds Festival. So they also know what it's like on the other side of the stage. They know what it's like to be in that audience with expectation about how a band is going to deliver. And almost all of the bands that come through they've all been Leeds Festival goers. That's really important.
Yeah, well, we were talking to Kasabian, they went from the mosh pit, literally, didn't they?
Yeah, they were.
But it's not just about traditional bands, and I said traditional lightly. There's a lot to be said now about female-led bands, and you're doing a lot to help. So you launched the Rebalance programme. How's it doing, Melvin, and what can people do to engage with it?
Well, Rebalance really was a very specific attempt for me to address the imbalance in music. And maybe for 3 years, maybe even 4 years, there's been criticism of me, criticism of Leeds and Reading Festivals about not having enough women on the stage at the festivals. And my view has always been that I'm booking bands that people are listening to. And the reality is that not enough women are making music to get to that point where people are listening to them on the radio, they're listening to them on Spotify, they're listening to them on iTunes, etc. They're just not getting that recording time. So what I've done is I've set up Rebalance, which is all about recording time, and I'm setting aside a week a month for the next 3 years. So 36 women bands, women writers, women songwriters, women rappers, women grime acts, whatever they come through as, will come through the Rebalance program. They'll get a full week's recording. Part of that full week's recording is a guarantee by some decent record companies to give them a good listen and have first option on recording them for the first album properly, and they'll get festival plays. It's a real 360-degree effort at redressing the imbalance.
I wanted to ask you, how does it actually directly translate into what we're hearing now, getting people on these stages? Next year, are we likely to see some more girl bands on it?
We'll certainly see more bands with women on here, as a matter of course. Bands that have come through the Rebalance programme. But actually, it's a more subtle change, and it's a more long-term change, and it's a long-term change that says that women are welcome and important to be performers, not just be audience members. And that's really, really key for me, is that when you go into studios, you find that the predominant staff are male. That's intimidating. It's not welcoming if you're a young woman. And it's not necessarily intimidating, but it's not welcoming. And it sort of makes it feel like it's for other people. And I'm trying to change that too with the apprenticeship programs that I'm setting up with it.
And you're already getting a decent uptake on it?
Oh, the response for Rebalance has been beyond what I could have dreamt of.
Yeah.
Beyond what I could have dreamt of. People are the industry, and that's really what's really interesting for me, is that the amount of people in the industry, the music industry, have just all of a sudden gone, oh my God, Melvin, this is amazing.
So this could be a domino effect.
I think there'll be a domino effect.
We had on our front page as girl power. Well, we think we could get another Spice Girls out of this, do you think, Melvin?
Well, I don't know that we'll get a Spice Girls out of it, but we will get I think we'll get a number of very positive women bands out of it.
All right, well listen, we've still got a bit of time. People can still come along to Leeds Fest. It's only day 2. You've got some amazing acts today, and tomorrow's just off the scale. Can you just remind people who they can come and see?
Well, Kasabian today, I mean, today is a phenomenal lineup, really. With just the main stage alone. Just ignore the rest. The main stage alone of Circa Waves, Jimmy Eat World, Two Door Cinema Club, Bastille, and then Kasabian. It's like this is what the UK is providing. All UK bands except Jimmy Eat World. I mean, really amazing lineup. Tomorrow, Eminem, the Godfather, really. I mean, the man, one of the most important figures in music for 3 decades, probably, 2.5 decades, and making another return to Leeds Festival as a headliner. The only place in the world that you'll be able to see Eminem this year is at Reading today and Leeds tomorrow. You won't see Eminem anywhere else in the world.
I've got to stop you just there, because we were just talking off camera. You've got a quite special relationship with Eminem. I think you were the first promoter to actually bring him over to England.
Yeah,
just tell me about the guy, because he's got a bit of a ferocious reputation on screen and on TV, but he's a nice guy, isn't he?
Well, I mean, is you know, I mean, like many songwriters. I mean, a lot of songwriters write songs, you know, with anger and you know, focused on injustice and all that sort of stuff. And Eminem's certainly written about that. And but he, you know, his first ever gig was in one of my venues in London. You know, 25 years ago, I guess now. I can't remember even. I do remember it wasn't a very much amount of money that we had to pay. That was great. It's an awful lot more money now. But you know, the truth is that what he cares about is his fans. And you know, tonight in Reading, tomorrow in Leeds, the one thing that he will be absolutely certain to demand is some time with me, so that he can talk about, is there anything I want him to do towards the safety of his fans. Make sure that when he's on stage there's good communication in case anything has to be stopped or anything like that. Very focused on his fans and the well-being of his fans and the love of his fans. I mean, this is what young, you know, this is what great artists do. They, you know, they care about who they're performing to.
So a social conscience, he comes out in his lyrics, but Art's a bit of a family man, isn't he?
Oh, he's he's very committed to his kids, his family, all that sort of stuff. But it is, you know, I see it from the point of view, he's very committed to his family.
And you're going to get value for money. You're going to see him twice, aren't you? You're off back down to Reading. You're going to come back here tomorrow night?
I'm going to pop down to Reading tonight to see him, of course, and then I'm going to pop back up. Tonight, you know, tomorrow to see him again.
We do need to mention to people who are coming as well, just to remind them, you've got great security here. Everybody's very friendly, it's very quick actually getting through, but it's very thorough. Just to remind people what they can and can't bring on board.
Well, I mean, it's the usual thing. I mean, you know, life's changed for us all now in all respects, and so, you know, very, you know, bags no bigger than, you know, effectively an A4 size of, you know, sheet of paper. So very small bags. You know, clearly no weapons, no alcohol, no bottles, no glass. You know, people know what they can and can't bring into these venues nowadays. But you know, the reality is the pat down's fairly thorough. And it's not worth trying to bring anything that you can't bring in, because you won't be let in. You'll be either sent away or sent back to your car to put it in the car. Come and have a great day. And
the one thing you do need tomorrow is your sun cream. I'm told it's going to be a fantastic day.
Always need sun cream in Leeds, always. We've had an amazing weekend, completely rain-free. Standard fare for Leeds Festival.
And of course, the closing question I ask you every year, Melvin, and I know you're always obliging to tell me, who have you booked for next year?
I booked some time with you, Graham. That's the only thing that's absolutely confirmed so far.
All right, well listen, we can't wait to hear all the great news that's coming soon after this, and I'm sorry to push you about next year when we've not even finished this one. Melvin, as ever, always a pleasure. Thank you, everyone.
Nice to see you again.